2015, I want to say. And the documentary is called Ambassador's Road. He walked across the United States for our fallen Marines. He did come through Wisconsin. It's pretty touching to me because going through it, he goes to people from all of my unit, and the one guy that was on top of the roof with me when my buddy got killed, we were the first two to walk out after we heard the snap, and you know, it's just a horrific sight. You're just dazed. You don't know what to think. Seeing the blood and gray matter just laying there.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right, Paul. Where you at, Paul? Paul Skawa.
Attaboy.
Yeah, did I get it right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I usually murder all names. I don't know how I'm doing that, but so I served 88, 4 years. 88. All right, appreciate it. Welcome to the team this year.
Thanks.
And then we got Rob Arthur. Where you at? Also played last year. Served 93 to 97, right?
93, 97.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Thank you. And last but not least, everybody's favorite, John Ribeye. Ribeye, where you at? Where's Ribeye? Hey, he's
Rivets and shit.
served 78 to 82. Real pleasure, brother. Thank you. All right, well, conclude the meeting. So here you go, Brian.
You don't want to tell them about you? I wouldn't either. Okay, moving on. All right, Air Force. Mr. Moser up front center. Joined February 1992. MOS was heating and air conditioning. Years of service was 8 years active. Where
He
you
went
go?
to the bathroom.
It's typical Air Force. No surprise, can't find them when you have to have them.
Oh, ouch.
All right, well, he's going to miss his own final. Current career is construction superintendent for an industrial HVAC company. Currently resides in Hartford, Wisconsin. Married, just actually divorced. Well, this was last year, but he was divorced 1 week ago, happily. Oh, hey, Dan, nice of you to join us. So now it's what, in 1 year and 1 week now from your divorce? Since your divorce?
Sure. Year and a month.
So you've got
Oh
three?
yeah, year and a week. Fun.
Yeah, a year and a week.
Ooh, let's celebrate.
So he's got 3 kids and you have additional grandkids, right? Not just one, right?
Correct, I have 3 with 1 on the way.
3 with 1 on the way. Because you had 2 grandkids
And all
on the
my
way.
kids are married, actually.
All his kids are married. So best memory of the service, there are many trips to Vegas. Why did you enlist? Didn't want to go to college. Was this the best decision you ever made?
Sure.
Billy Dupree, where you at, Billy? There he is, bad hip and all. Billy, date of enlistment 1972, April 72. You didn't have your MO. What'd you do in the Air Force? Aircraft mechanic. 4 years active duty. Currently retired. Lives in Sheboygan. Married with 5 kids. Wasn't that a TV show?
No, there's only 2.
Shut up. Best memory of your service. Discharged. Why did you enlist? Get the hell away from my evil stepmother. Tommy Lloyd. Where's Tommy? Oh, there you are. Tommy Lloyd. Enlisted 1991. Diet therapy specialist, MedTech. Years of service 6 years. Got out as 100% disabled. Current career is, I'm sure most of you all know, he's the owner of Vibes up in Sheboygan. Great bar to go play. Poolette, and he's the owner of Wisconsin Tool and Machine Technologies, LLC. Current city is Sheboygan, Wisconsin. He's not married, has 2 sons, 1 daughter, and only 3 grandbabies. Do you have more now?
No, I have 3 also.
Huh?
That's it.
Just it? All right, 3 grandbabies. That is it. Best memory of his service, he was wrestling all over the world on the Air Force team. Why did you enlist? In hopes of entering the Air Force Academy, but ended up loving active duty as enlisted. Toasty. Tom Joss, year of 1990, enlisted. MOS was rescue swimmer, LE, that's law enforcement team. Years of service, 7. Current career is a QC at, you still a QC at Metalform at Wausau Tile. Current city is, I know I screwed this up last time. Huh? Cronin Letters. So he's got a fiance. Are you guys married now, right? No. All right, fiance. When's the date?
Right? When's the date?
Okay, we'll forget that. Forget I even asked. 2 kids, 1 son, 1 daughter. Best memory of service, all the places around the world he was able to see. And why did you enlist? Earn money for school and see the world. Amanda Nora, our newbie. One of our newbies. Amanda Nora enlisted in April of 1998. She was an intelligence officer. Years of service. You didn't have years of service.
I did. It's on there.
You liar. Wasn't that on there? What was it? No, it wasn't. It was empty. Where did you have it? Oh, it was way at the end. 5 years of service. Current career, she is retired because she's adopted 6 kids. Watertown, Wisconsin, best memory of her service was meeting a wonderful Iraqi family whose husband and 2 older sons performed interpreting for the military. That's awesome. That's awesome. Why did you enlist? Family legacy. Rick, I'm not even going to screw up your last name. Where are you at, Rick? There you are. Rick's right here. Rick, enlisted, hold on, say your last name.
Miss Livicek.
Yeah, that's it. Date enlisted, yeah. January of 1983, MOS was law enforcement. Even though I am not police material, it was a great learning experience. Years of service, 83 to 87. Another one, 4 years, 2 months, and about 15 days. Current career is an entrepreneur, multiple business owner, and investor. Current city is West Baraboo, Wisconsin. Married, 1 wife with 2 children. How old are your kids? 23 and 25. All right, best memory of your service. Being a member of the 1984 Peacekeeper Challenge Team for the Military Airlift Command, which is MAC, and winning a gold medal in the obstacle course, along with a bronze medal in the War Games portion. As a side, in 1985, he was transferred to Clark Air Base in the Philippines and joined PACAF. They won 2 silver medals, obstacle course, and combat rifle competition. That's awesome. Why did you enlist? First and foremost, he wanted to. However, it didn't hurt that the U.S. was in a severe recession when he graduated high school and he needed employment. Rick is also the individual that could not make it last year, but generously sent a check to donate last year as well. And again, this year, brought a check and donated $500 to the cause. So, appreciate that, Rick. All right, myself, real quick, I enlisted June of 1987 right out of high school. At my MOS, eventually became a computer operator. I was 5 years active, Travis Air Force Base in California, and Desert Storm as well. I actually also was in reserves at the 440th Airlift Wing at Billy Mitchell, and I actually worked as a civilian out there as a computer network engineer until they shut down, and I said, well, I'm sick of sitting behind a desk. So I'm going to open up my own business. I've owned that for 27 years now. Divorced with 4 kids, three sons, 1 daughter. I live in Bayside, Wisconsin. My best memory of my service was, people don't understand, I performed honor guard duties, and I'll tell you what, that is one of the most rewarding things you could ever do. To travel with a service member that has passed away. Travis Air Force Base was the gateway to the Pacific. So we had a lot of service members come through there that passed away overseas, and they would all come through Travis. And not, I don't know if everybody is, well, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of. Once that person leaves the base, they are accompanied every step of the way. To fly commercial, they are on that plane with that person. As a matter of fact, they walk down to the tarmac, watch that casket go on the plane. They walk up the vestibule there, outside. You're the first one to sit in the plane. When that plane lands, you're the first one to get up. You walk down the stairs, they open it up, you're the first one to meet that casket off. You travel in the hearse to the cemetery, or Yeah, funeral home, and then you pass along from that, and then you actually wait for the family and meet the family. So that was one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. And why did I enlist? I had no clue what I was doing after high school. So.
And you have a wonderful girlfriend.
I do have a wonderful girlfriend, Michelle. Thanks, Nick. Oh, Jesus. Gordon. You know, Gordon, where are you at, Gordon? Because Gordon asked me last year to play in this, and I said, what were you in? Air Force. And I completely forgot, and he even messaged me and said, yeah, I'll be this year. I said, okay, great. I thought he was Army. And I totally forgot, and I apologize. So I didn't send you the questions. So we are going to ask you the questions. When did you enlist?
1988.
You hold that. I'm going to ask the question. All right.
June 16th, 1988.
What was your MOS?
Started off just getting in, halfway through basic, tried out for combat control pararescue, and then physically made it through there, and then the rest is history.
Nice.
There you go.
How many years of service?
23.
23. Wow. You the man.
Awesome.
What's your current career?
I'm disabled, retired, whatever you call
Where
it.
you living?
Jackson.
Jackson. Married?
Married,
Kids?
3,
Grandkids?
4.
Great grandkids?
Not yet.
Best memory of your service?
This one will shock everybody, especially you.
Uh-oh. Nothing could shock me.
It's $50.
No.
Singing the national anthem for President George Bush in 1991 at Arlington National Cemetery for Memorial Day in front of the Tomb of the Unknown.
Oh my God.
America.
Here's $50, Brian.
Sing a little. You want to do it again? Sing a little for us.
Why did you
Pay that man his money.
first?
I enlisted because I figured it's either going to prison, die, or make something of myself.
I know.
All right, now you can sing.
What do you want to hear?
Okay. What do you want to hear?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the I knew there was a reason why I forgot you, because I could not follow up my crap with that, so. Thanks, man.
My hairs are still standing up.
That was
All right,
awesome.
that was awesome. That was awesome. So glad I screwed that up and had Dave go before him, so. All right, now, for the probably the best of, well, I mean, that was phenomenal. But now we're at a point where I think everybody wants to, well, actually, you know what, while we're here, before I bring Nick up here, captains, why don't you guys come up here? Captains, Matt. We'll just all introduce them together. So, leave it up to Dale. Yeah. So, on one of our Zoom calls, oh God, it's so gonna pain me to say this, but Patrick actually had a good idea.
First one. Actually,
God, that hurts.
first one.
Holy sh! That hurts. All right. So, he had a good idea that usually whenever you have an honored guest come, you'd like to show your appreciation to them. So Patrick had a friend. You want to?
Oh, yeah, my buddy, he works CNC operator. He's a hobbyist, he works with wood, and I'm a wood enthusiast myself. And, you know, we wanted to make something nice for Nick coming out here and speaking with us. And he designed a really cool plaque which has our logos on it, the Billards Battle of the Branches logo. It's all inlaid and laser etched, and it reads.
So we wanted to present this to Nick when we brought him up here. Not only do we want to give you one of the coins, but we'd like to present this to you. So if you want to actually hold that, guys, come on over and get a picture of them. But
Yeah, it says, Nick Lavery, your bravery, strength, and sacrifice does not go unnoticed. In appreciation, all the vets, Billiard Battle of the Branches 2022, and I'm going to try to say this, the Oppresso Liber. I got it? Holy crap, I did learn how to read. It means free to oppress, correct? Okay, so that's the motto of the Green Berets.
Yep.
So yeah, thank you for your service. And here you go.
Thank you, guys. I forget your name there, dude. That's a brutal act to follow, man. Just bust out the national anthem like that and send me up here to clean it up. All right. First, I just want to recognize, you know, I've had the opportunity to be a part of a lot of different events throughout the country. And if there's one thing that they all have in common is that when you're there and you're participating in it, it's really easy to assume that this kind of thing just kind of happens. And there is an absolute ton of really hard work that goes behind the scenes. I was not part of any of it, but prior to me kind of getting into a couple of thoughts, I just want to recognize once again Brian, the rest of the team for putting this on. Thank you so much. Amazing work. Well done. Congratulations. So, my son's throwing pool balls at me. All right. Go ahead and put that on my tab. The one's going right there. All the damage. So, guys, I'm going to be brief. I'll share a little bit of my personal background, some history. This really event. This isn't about me by any stretch. I feel like I just owe you guys a little bit of detail. Who's this random tattooed, one-legged guy with a crazy accent up here talking to people? So originally I'm from Boston, Mass. For you guys that hadn't figured that pie out yet. My wife's from Milwaukee, so I'm a secondary Packers fan all day long, as long as they're not playing the Pats, which doesn't happen too often, so we're good there. I've been in the military now just over 15 years. The entire time I've been with the Army Special Forces as a Green Beret, which is what I still currently do now, and is what I'll continue to do for as long as I'm an asset to the guys and gals I have a privilege to work alongside of every single day. I do believe that military service is amongst, if not the greatest honor any member of a society can take on, and I view what I do as an absolute privilege to be able to do that. I'm going to run through just some of these kind of questions here real quick. So obviously I'm married. My wife Tony is right there holding our youngest son Vin, who's 19 months, and then my oldest boy is back there causing all kinds of hell. He's 5, his name's Dom. I decided to enter the military ultimately in 2007.
I was a sophomore in college, 2001, and that's when 9/11 happened. And most of us, if not all of us, as a moment in time that we will all remember exactly where we were, and what we were doing. And I will never forget sitting there in my dorm room, watching my fellow Americans make the choice between burning alive or jumping out of a building. And I was absolutely furious about what I was seeing. And I knew that we as a nation would be responding to that. And I decided right there and then that I wanted to be part of that response. I struggled to stay in school. I contemplated just dropping out of college right there and then. Ultimately listened to some family, friends, some mentors. I stayed in, I grinded out my degree, and then I began looking at options to enter the service. Stumbled upon the Army recruiter, realized that there's a program referred to as a Special Forces recruit, which gives guys, and even today gals, the opportunity off the street to bypass the conventional Army and go straight into the Special Forces, which is ultimately what I did. Fast forward a little bit, on my third trip over in Afghanistan in 2012, I was wounded in combat on 3 separate occasions. All right, the first, we were just in country about a month. I took some grenade shrapnel to the back of my shoulder, blew about a lemon-sized hole in me. Really wasn't that big of a deal, plugged it up. Yeah, I got medevaced out, was out of the game about a week, and then I returned back to my team, right back to business. About a month after that was when I was wounded for the second time. I took an AK-47 round to the face. Obviously sounds a lot worse than it was. I know it's something that you don't often hear. Someone say I was shot in the face because typically that person is not around. To say that, I obviously got really, really lucky. Really just grazed my cheek, clipped an artery, I bled a lot. Really wasn't all that big of a deal. Was out of the fight again about another week. Stitched me back together, cauterized the wound, cleaned me up, back to the boys, back to business. About 2-3 months after that, we had just a couple weeks left in the trip, was when I was wounded for the third time. This was a result of an insider attack, meaning an Afghan national police officer that we've been working with opened fire on me and my team. The truck-mounted, belt-fed PKM machine gun, about 25 feet away. Devastating weapon system, even from ranges at the 800. Ultimately, there were 12 U.S. casualties total. 3 were killed, another dozen or so Afghan dead or wounded. Considered to be the most catastrophic insider attack that we have in our nation's records. Shattered my femur, severed my femoral artery. I really should have died several times just in that span of time. Eventually got medevaced out, got to an aid station. I needed blood really bad, and I was put on a transfusion of an incompatible blood type.
Oh my God.
Which essentially killed me. You really don't need to be a doctor to recognize how severe that can be, particularly when someone's already in critical condition. Everything died in my body, lungs, liver, kidneys, everything's done. I still managed, obviously, to survive that because I'm here talking to you people here today. Spent a year at Walter Reed in Bethesda, Maryland, learning how to live life as a one-legged guy, learning how to operate a prosthetic. Returned back to my unit, which at the time was Fort Bragg. I was in 3rd group at the time. I'll say I was offered a full medical military retirement, but that's kind of putting it lightly. The Army did their damnedest to have me removed from service. So I ended up in about an 8-month street fight with the Army in order to be able to stay in on active duty. A fight in which I obviously won. During that time I was working as an instructor, teaching combatives in CQB. And at that point I felt like I was ready to give it a shot to get back onto the team. Made that known. My unit put me through the absolute ringer. Multiple dozens of assessments and tests, a lot of it physical, but also cognitive, proficiency, psychological. I mean, they really did run me through the ringer. And after about 12 weeks of time, taking anywhere from 2 to 3 assessments a week, I was given the approval to return back to my team. And about 6 weeks after that, I was back in Afghanistan conducting full spectrum combat operations, making me the first Special Forces operator to return to combat as an above-the-knee amputee. Not a whole lot really has changed since. I've deployed to combat multiple times in multiple continents. I've been promoted a bunch, which the military pretty much does as long as you don't fuck things up too bad for too long. It kind of just happens. And again, I'll continue to do what I do because I love what I do. I have an enormous passion behind what I do. Not so much being a Green Beret or being a soldier, but earning that every single day. All right. You good, dude? I want to share two stories. One's a little heavy and one's a little light. They'll be quick. I want to share a story about the most difficult assignment I've ever been given in my career. And that may think that it's combat rotation to Afghanistan or Iraq or Somalia or maybe some kind of tactical operation, but it was actually none of those things. And this was last year when I was assigned as a casualty assistance officer, or otherwise known as a CAO. That individual is tasked to be the support element and the guide for the surviving family members of after a service member is dead. So I get the phone call, said, Nick, you got 12 hours, you gotta be in your full dress military uniform, you gotta meet with the chaplain and other members of our chain of command, and we're gonna go drive to the house of Miss Kimberly Sanchez, whose husband, Aiden, who's a friend of mine, just died, and you are going to be the person that guides them through the process that follows after a service member is no longer with us. Now, it takes 3 days of training to become a certified CAO. And most of that's administrative stuff, paperwork, where to go to talk to whoever about the thing. It really doesn't matter how long they would train you on that, because there really is no training that prepares you for that task, that prepares you for the difficulty of that mission. Me and my boys will go to some horrible places and do some really bad things to some really bad people, no problem. This, I knew before I even showed up, was going to be the most difficult job I've ever had. And it proved to be just that. And after about a week of me sitting at this dinner table across from this family, who's obviously grieving, wife, Kim, 2 young boys, Eli and Caleb, they got a lot of questions. I knew the answers to some, but I also didn't know quite a bit. And although the Army and all the other branches, they do provide resources to family members after one is no longer with us, but there are gaps that exist. There are needs that are not met by the branches, by the government, by the Department of Defense. And I recognize that really fast. And Kim is saying, who's gonna help me with this? How am I gonna do this? A lot of questions that I did not know the answers to. So after a sleepless night, I started making some phone calls. Well, the 2 organizations that are the beneficiaries of this event that we're all at here today were 2 of which that answered the phone when I called. They understood the situation, and they said, Nick, we've been here before, and we got your back. And within hours, literally, things were happening. Resources were coming in. Not only were things happening in the short term, but a game plan was put in place for longer term needs: school, housing, relocation, benefits, education. I was able to walk back into that house the very next day and say, Kim, here's the deal. The Army's gonna do this, but I got some other players in the game that are gonna do all these other things. And it made what was the most difficult job I've ever had just that much easier to do. Because now I had an actual team behind me of individuals, 99% of which are volunteers that do it purely out of the goodness of their hearts. We're not gonna let that family struggle any more than they needed to. Knowing that these organizations exist, these organizations that are out there, 2 of which you guys are literally supporting here today now, not only do they come into support after the death of a service member, but by me being able to witness that and be a part of that and see that, it has enabled me tremendously to do the job that I'm still doing right now. Because I know with certainty, because I've lived it, that if God forbid something happens to me, the organizations that you guys have decided and chosen to support will not let my family struggle any more than they need to. by knowing that I can get back on the bird, back on the truck, go back to work, knowing that these 3 people here right now will be taken care of. That is what you guys are a part of here today. The military benevolent space is quite saturated. There's a whole ton of organizations out there. And I believe that most have the best of intentions. I'm often asked, how do I best support the military? What nonprofit do I go to? Knowing that there's a lot of options, my advice is typically look into the ones that are serving a mission in which you believe in yourself, and the people behind them are actually executing on what they say they do. So while gratitude is certainly needed here tonight, I also just want to say congratulations to all of you that have chosen to contribute and support to organizations that actually make a difference for real on the ground. Yes, a bunch of awesome people here doing some really cool stuff, having a good time, having a few beers, shooting some pool, that's great. But there is a no shit, authentic, actual, real value behind what all of you have decided to do here today. So I just want to say again, thank you guys for being a part of this. We're going to lighten it up, and then I'm going to stop talking so we can close out here. One of the questions was fondest memories, greatest memories, however it's worded. I got a memory I'm going to share. So it's 2016. I'm on my 5th combat rotation, my 2nd as an amputee. I'm in Somalia. We're attached to one of our tiered units. So at this point, my teammates had gotten really used to a lot of the shenanigans that come with having a one-legged guy in the team. Right? And there's some weird shit that happens that we all got to kind of figure out. My team was used to that. We were working with another element that weren't used to this. We're on a mission. We got to clear a village. We end up doing that. Smoke a handful of bad guys. Wasn't all that big of a deal. Take a whole bunch of other dudes as detainees, and we're going to run overnight. We're going to rest overnight at this location. So our partner force is securing a perimeter for us. We got a bunch of Somalis. We got some Kenyans working with us. They're setting a perimeter. We're getting ready to, do our priorities of work, whatnot. I'm in a up-armored Toyota Hilux, which is basically a Toyota pickup truck. All right. Myself and one of the medics from this adjacent unit was driving. So the 2 of us in the vehicle. So I say, hey Matt, here's the deal, man. I gotta take a shit. And he's like, okay, why are you telling me this right now? I said, man, well, it's a little more complicated than normal, and this is gonna be a team effort. So now he's looking at me all crazy. I've only known this guy a few weeks. He's like, what is this maniac about to ask me to do? I said, no, all right, it's not that big of a deal. But in order for me to do this, I have to detach my prosthetics, just the way that it's attached to my body. And believe me, I've tried a lot of different methods. This is literally the cleanest way to go about doing this. Not only that, but I need something to brace, because I'm going to be holding a single leg squat, and I need something to hold on to so I don't fall backwards onto myself. And he's like, all right, man, I'm tracking. Like, so what do we do? I'm like, here's the deal. I'm going to dig a hole over here. We're in the middle of a village, okay? Detainees are getting dealt with. Security's getting posted. I'm going to dig a hole here. You're going to take the truck. You're going to back it up. And I'm going to use the tailgate to hold my weight as I go into a squat and do what I got to do. He's like, I got it, tracking all. Let's do this. So we get everything set up. Boom, truck backs up. My kit comes off, weapons off, all in the back of the truck, leg off, back of the truck, boom, I'm doing my thing, everything is going according to business, and then what do you think happens? Rounds start tinging off the truck. So our genius partner force, which is not uncommon, left a huge gap in security, and some dudes that we hadn't dealt with decided to get creative and re-engage us. When I say us, I don't mean just our element, I mean us, like myself and Matt. In the center of this village, ting, 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 ting. He's in the truck, which is Ahmed. I'm holding on the back of the truck, bare-assed, one-legged, literally. Okay, mid-poop, guys. Mid-poop, okay? Ting, 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 ting. I'm in no condition to do what I normally would do in a gunfight. So I just launched myself into the back of this pickup truck. And I just like get small, Matt does this thing, my teammates, they all maneuver, partner force maneuvers. The entire thing lasted maybe 12 seconds and we were done. It wasn't a big deal. Well, here I am now, laying in the back of a pickup truck, covered in my own feces. Okay? Literal shit show, people. So Matt comes around, he takes one look at me, he just is dying laughing. Of course, you know, he gets on the radio, he starts calling all the rest of the guys, so hey, you gotta come check this out. My teammates all come rolling over. They were used to kind of crazy stuff with me, but they hadn't seen this before. So they're like, all just laughing, you know, like, hey Nick, are you okay? Like, you guys have been laughing already for 2 minutes, and now you're asking me if I'm okay. Yeah, I'm fine, I'm a mess. So let me just get myself cleaned up and get back to work. So, you decide to go back to operational status on an SF team, and as a one-legged guy, there's obviously a lot of challenges that come with that. This is just more of a funny example of things that happen, but I wouldn't be able to have gone through all the things I needed to do to get myself back into my lifestyle and continue serving in a capacity which I know I was put on this earth to do without the community that I've been able to have around me. Right? Those are my teammates, that's my leadership. First and foremost, that's my family, right? So it's been, you know, obviously quite a wild ride with some crazy events as such, but when you have a passion for a lifestyle and a sense of purpose behind what you do, as I do, you figure out how to get the job done. And there are many people in this room, many of which were standing up here, that can all attest to that exact same thing. It's hard, but you've made a decision to do something, and you're gonna see that through regardless of whatever that takes. Guys, I appreciate the invitation. Thank you so much, and thank you again for your contribution. It's been awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, last action, I do want to give you also, these are going to be available. Nick, come here, bro. What are you holding? So these are the shirts that we had made up for this year, and you'll be happy to see the Air Force was on from last year. So we won it. I want you to take that with you as a remembrance of it. And again, when we had, where's that? When I talked to Joe, or when Joe had mentioned about having Nick here, obviously we all were just inspired and honored to have that. And when I talked to Nick on the phone, and we decided that we wanted to donate to something that was close and dear to him. And those are the two organizations that he brought up. And I tell you, hearing that story, I'm so glad we did that. I'm so glad you presented that to us. And it just makes me want to, like, there's more that we'd like to do even after this event. You know, we'll still raise some money. I know, Joe, you brought a shotgun. I'm going to do a raffle for that. I'm going to still raise some more money. The coins, if anybody is interested in a coin, matter of fact, actually I want to give you 2 of those to give to the organizations that are on the back. So give those to them. We are going to sell the coins as well, so if anybody's interested in having another coin to give anybody, a veteran, I ordered 100 of them. So all the money, every single dollar that's coming into this is going straight to these organizations. So whatever you can do, I certainly appreciate it. All the captains certainly appreciate it. And I just want to thank you all again for being here. This couldn't happen without all of you. So we thank you guys very, very much. So enjoy the rest of the night here. We're going to probably run some minis, and tomorrow we'll finish up. And hope you guys are enjoying it.
What time in the morning?
Yeah, give us some time.
11 o'clock? 11 o'clock, good?
Remember to set back your clock.
Yes, remember to set back the clocks tonight. So we gain an hour tonight. So why we're doing that, beyond me, but we're doing it. So set your clocks back, and 11 o'clock, that's all good? 11? All right, everybody, thank you very much. Have a great night.
Why did he walk it on his tippy?
Jump it.
You got him. Want me to grab you? I'm gonna throw it away anyway. I'll go grab a plate for you so you don't want to go and get it. I'll go make a plate.
I'm holding their mouth. That's why it's all matters.
This last
Oh, he's in college now. I know.
How was your waitress last night? You didn't tip your waitress. I'm horrible, huh? No, you're not. You were coming up. I was like, where's your son? Oh, okay. I must have the chair then.
I'm going to take some candid photos.
Hey, Dale.
Everyone was like, blurry.
That's good luck.
Did not get a picture of himself
Okay. Everything's good. New streamlined plumbing since the surgery.
You should meet him.
Come here.
I'll tell you what, if there was
You can get him up. That's right.
get home safe.
Hungry.
She's gonna be up all night.
Next.
Now I can ride in for giant. Yeah. You coming tomorrow?
I don't know, I'm watching NASCAR race with your dad, so.
Hey, before all the vets leave, just so you know, we are going to do the Calcutta real soon for the captain's match, so stick around for that, okay?
Good luck, Nick. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
You need a bigger than this. You need a bigger stage. You don't know.
I got you guys
He goes and need a bigger stage.
Instead of a stage, you just need to build another workshop. Build a